Somewhere in your body, there is a memory older than your name. You felt it in a place you'd never been before, in a word you'd never heard, and somehow already knew, in a sound you recognize as your own heartbeat. That memory has a name. Yosoy. I am, je suis. And when it finally speaks, when the word rises from the heart and finds its way through the throat, something in the world shifts. This series is their stories. Guardians, walkers, witnesses from each and every corner of the world, from wherever this path took root and bloomed, each one a flower, opening in its own soil, each one a voice the world needs to hear. Welcome to Yosoy Voices. Hello, beautiful human beings, and welcome to the very first episode of Yosoy Voices. I'm Ola, and I am one of the guardians of Yosoy Friends, and I am really happy to be with you today. And our first guest, you probably might know her face already. The first time I came across Judy, was watching Matías De Stefano's Yosoy Path videos from Egypt, and she was there in his hotel room with him in Egypt, and I was thinking, and I'm pretty sure everyone did the same, who is that girl? And then I saw her in the Rama's bridge, and she was amazing, like the energy and her presence. And after I attended two holographic healing sessions with her, and it was mind-blowing. It opened up new doors into my being. And so, well, here she is today, Judit Yague, and originally from Barcelona, a very sensitive person from the very early age, with lots of experience from different dimensions and perspectives, time and spaces. And she also lived in Himalayas in India. And now she calls Ibiza her home and is a holistic therapist. And she has been doing this for over 30 years. And I am honored today to interview her, to interview Judit Yague. Judith, thank you for accepting our invitation and to open the Yosoy Voices series. I'm really happy to have you here. So let's dive into it.
Thank you, Ola, for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here. And thank you for the trust and for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you. And before we go into the story of your life, I would like to know, what kind of child were you? And when did it all start for you? Like, who were you?
Good question. Well, as a kid, I was very sensitive and I was already connecting to different energies and different types of dimensions. I didn't know by that time, so I thought that that was normal. But as I grew up, I understood that there was gift, a potential that I had. And I used to use my hands a lot to see through my hands. So I will play with holograms. I will create holographic figures with my hands, or I will. My father always tells me that I used to. When I say that I'm 30 years therapist now, or over 30 years, my dad stops me always and says, "No, Judith, you start when you were 5," because it seems like when he had pain, I will go. I don't remember that. That's my father voice, basically, what he says. But I will go there and I will put my hands on, and then the pain will be gone. So that's how I know that there is that I connected into different realms. Also, I start to see the people at the beginning. I could feel and sense energies very strongly, things that other people could not see. And so my father also was used to tell me, and he's still telling me, that I'm a witch. Like, is there a way of understanding of that other realms? But that comes actually from two of my grandparents, like one grandmother from father's side and the great grandmother from the mother's side, where both of them, they were healers. So yeah, it runs into the blood somehow.
Yeah, so we can say it's your heritage. You brought it like you're a witch, Judith. Like you're born bruja. Do we say bruja in Spanish?
Bruja. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So amazing. And so I imagine it was pretty difficult for you to be a child that could see ghosts and could feel stuff. And did you feel different from other children, or at some point did you realize that you had something extra, like an extra luggage or something?
It was difficult because um, they, like, when I was sharing these things, and I was very scared, to be honest. When I was a child, I was very scared because no one was telling me that this was normal. And also, you see it in movies, and you carry probably cellular memory from ancestors that they believe that all these unseen things are from the dark side somehow, or like, like very Christianized, not Christianized, but religious. Let's
Yeah.
put it in this way, because Christ consciousness is an amazing thing. But like the religion heaviness, or patterns and belief systems that it was, that was scary. So imagine, I grew up in a castle myself, so a very old castle. My grandparents from father's side, they were living in a castle, and in that place, even though it was very magical and beautiful, because my grandparents were making the gardens very beautiful, and we with my cousins and I, we were playing in the gardens, and it was like really magic there. But still, I remember my cousins laughing about me because I will not want to go into a certain point of the castle, or I will not want to enter into certain place, because it was overwhelming for me. I could
Yeah.
sense and feel a lot. So yeah, it was difficult in this sense because I didn't have anyone to speak with, and somehow they were not taking serious what was happening. And one thing that I heard the most in my house was, "This doesn't exist." No, it's like, this doesn't exist. Don't think about that. So I learned how to very early. I learned how to live with that without sharing it and thinking that I was creating it in my mind. It was just later on when I started to discover that actually this was existing. So when I was 15 and I started entering into the path of self-observation and the path of healing myself, that I discovered Reiki, and then I went into meeting other people that were thinking and feeling same as me, and that I started to really opening myself up again and to see this. But what I take from the learning from the childhood is that nowadays I know how to live in this 3D dimensional completely good, because I know how to kind of like discern or like navigate the energies, because I had to mask when I was a kid. So right now I'm like, I can be completely in the 3 dimensional level and not feeling energies, or feeling them, but it will not bother me, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
it's like a switch. You turn
exactly,
it on.
it turns on and off. And then suddenly when I want to connect, and then it's just like it's 1 second, I'm just like, oh, like it's a kind of changing perception, clack, you do this, and then phew, everything opens up. So I learned to do that. And so navigating this 3 dimensional, very good, to be honest.
Yeah, so I can imagine it really served your path, because maybe if you lived in a family that would be different, you wouldn't be the person you are today. So it all makes sense. And I, I feel like, being 15 and doing Reiki, it's not typical either. Like, children at the age of 15, they listen to the music and I don't know, they don't do Reiki. Judith, what happened there? Can you tell me more about it? Like,
Yeah, well, I grew up in a family that they were really giving the best they could, um, in every level. But there were, as all the families, there were things that it were kind of unbalanced sometimes. And so very early I had to, I don't know how to say it, but kind of, I could feel that I was on my own. And so, in that sense, it brought me into, and I had a lot things from childhood, and relationship with my parents were not great at that time. Now they are amazing. But at that time, it was like really, we were really struggling to
challenging.
challenging, yes, with our
Yeah.
relationship. Like I left home when I was 18, very early. So yeah, it was this that actually brought me into, okay, what's there? What is there more? And what is there that I need to work on myself? Because at the end of the day, somehow I knew that in between me that my relationship with my father, with my mother, is something that I also bring in me. So I kind of knew since very little that I needed to work on myself, and
So
not
we could,
like
yeah.
for looking for that I already connect. Like I remember being a child and I went to see the dolphins on the zoo and being there with all the school, and I remember one picture that everyone was laughing at to be honest, in the school, not in a bad way, but it was like, look at Judith, because I was like completely gone connecting with the dolphins. You will see it in the picture, so, and I was 5. So that has been in me all the time. And I remember one time that walking on the street when I was 13, it was 5 p.m., winter time. And I remember exactly the road that I was walking near my house. And then I remember the light and everything. And I felt a kind of a sensation of, peace and openness. And in this moment, and this is sometimes when how I receive information, by doing random things, where I just go and then suddenly I see this pure white light coming into me, and in one split second I understood the universe, and I was tapping into the veins between the veins. So it's kind of like in that split second I realized it's like, okay, I carry a full universe inside my body. The cells is like the planets. Then the constellations will be the organs, and then the galaxies will be like,
Yeah.
the places, places in the body. So I kind of understood that, and then I start to see that I was inside of a body that was the earth, and that the earth was inside of another body and another body and another body and so on. So I could actually, in that split second, I could understand uh, how the universe was working, and that somehow this probably was my first moment where I tap into the I am, the feeling of I am everything, and everything is a ripple effect of one unity. But I couldn't put it in words.
Yeah, you were 13, so
Yeah.
difficult. But is this the moment when you connected your higher self, or?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think I had other moments where I felt like, as I told you, I felt like or looking at the sunset or swimming in the sea. I used to love swimming in the sea, where I felt like this expansion of I'm not a person. It's like I'm everything since very little. So it kept happening. But I think my family were doing its work very good, because it helped me to really bring back into earth, live this three dimension with feelings and everything that was there, and to be the human that I am now, basically, which I am human. It's like,
Yeah.
yes.
Of course. And yeah, and it was meant to be. So they helped you to be who you are. And just a quick observation. Do you know there is a rainbow
Yeah,
color right here, like next to your neck on the right? We are accompanied by
yes.
like
There I like, if we had the call just 2 hours before, when the sun comes in, it's all rainbows around my around,
oh,
because I have like these
the
balls, like
crystals.
crystals, and I have three in the window, and it's all rainbows in my room also. So there is a particular time of the day that my house become all rainbows. Now it's
Yeah.
already like sunset, so you cannot see them. It's like very little, but yeah, it's pure, all rainbows everywhere.
Yeah, so you see, even your home is connected to the Rainbow Bridge, like beautiful. And so it makes me think about your first encounter with the Matías's energy. When did you like meet him, or when was it? How old were you, and could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, of course. Well, I was coming from, I used to live 8 years, more or less, like between some a break, but it was 8 years living in India, mostly in the Himalayas. But I used to go when the snow was coming in the Himalayas. I used to go to Goa, and I remember a season in Goa in 2010 where I start to awaken all the memories from, not all the memories, but some memories from Atlantis and Mu. So I was really tapping into wanting to discover more of Atlantis and Mu, and the crystal scalps that I was very connected to, and the information that was coming. I met some people there in Goa that actually awakened even more this information. I remember something happened once where normally when I receive information it's not through dreams. I will be washing dishes, showering, or going to my car or something like this, and suddenly everything disappears and I see an image, and then I come back. And I remember being in my house in Goa and seeing an image and recognizing two of my friends in Goa in that image, and that my higher self, this voice that sometimes I hear, it says, "This is Atlantis and you met them there." What happened is that later at night, I went to the dinner, and I was in a big table of 15 people, and one of them entered, looked at me, had a newspaper in the hand, looked at me, threw the newspaper, and went to sit in the other side of the table. And when the newspaper landed in front of me, the first thing that I see that was written in the newspaper was like, a piece of Atlantis has been found in the south of Spain. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
These things were happening, okay, just to put you in context. in that season in summer, I came to Ibiza to do the season in summer, and I met my best friends from childhood, Xavi and Pau. And Matías was here a few months before I came in Ibiza. Matías came here about 2010. I think it was in 2010. Yeah, it came here to do a workshop or a seminar. They met him there. They took his CD that in that moment it was Atertumti. And when I met them and I explained everything, they said, "You have to look at this CD. This CD is for you." So I took this CD, and I remember one night at my house, I was like, you know what? I'm not really. It was 12 at night. It was really late. I was like, I'm not really sleepy yet, so I'm going to put the CD and then I will finish it another time. No, it's like I'm going to put it and maybe in half an hour I'm going to be sleeping. Well, it turned out 3 hours.
You didn't sleep. You didn't sleep.
It turned out 3 hours later, sitting in the bed, crying my eyes off because I was like, oh my God. Because I remembered also, not as him, I cannot compare to him at all, but I also remembered many parts of what he was saying in this CD of the Atertumti. And I start to connect dots of that CD helped me to understand more of what I was receiving and what I was feeling in between myself, and it helped me to awaken even more information in between myself. And I remember being sitting in the bed saying, oh my God, I'm not alone. Oh my God, I'm not alone. There is someone crazy as me. I'm not alone. That's actually how my first encounter with Matías was not physical. It was through a CD and looking at
His picture.
At this video, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so when was it? What time was it? Like 2000 and something? 2011, 2009? I don't know.
2011 had to be in that time. Yeah.
Okay. So in 2011, you listened to Matías's CD, or you watched it. It was a video, isn't it?
It was a video, yeah.
Yeah. And so then what do you do with it? So you know, like you discovered something about yourself. You felt finally understood. What did you do? Where did you go with this?
Following him in YouTube because he had few videos in YouTube. In that time, later on, and after after years. The years after, sorry, my English. The years after, they did like the Harwitum, they did Romaamor, they did few trips like this, and I was in the Himalayas at that time, so I still lived in the Himalayas, but I was following the path and the videos and the things that he was sharing online until 2016, that he started doing initiation path, like bringing people into traveling and into trips. And I remember that he had one trip in June in Canary Islands and then another trip in Egypt in like beginning of September, end of August, something like this. On the same year. So
which year was it?
2016.
Okay, so 5 years after your first encounter. Okay.
Yeah. So I met him in Canary Islands in Puerto La Cruz in Tenerife, and we did like a trip for 2 weeks more or less to go through all the 7 chakras of the planet, representing the 7 islands of Canary Islands, that they are connected to the 7 chakras of the planet. So it was there that we met, and I felt immediately a very strong connection, and like I could feel that I think many people do that. I think that many people feels a really strong connection with him straight away. Yeah, but what it turned out for me is that actually, yes, we actually knew each other from another life. So immediately we had a good connection, and it became a friendship very, very easy. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, and so this is where you start walking this path along Matías, and so you got into the organization, or how was it? Because you participated so in this Canary Islands trip, and
Yeah.
then did you go to Egypt with him, or?
Yeah, what happened at that time is that for what I remember, and I remember quite clear in that moment because it was really exceptional for me. Like it can be for everyone, yes. Where I remember telling him in a bus, I really want to go to Egypt, you know. I really feel the call to go to Egypt. And he was like, I'm really sorry, but it's full already. So I don't know. And there is a waiting list and so on. So what it turned out, to make the story short, is that when we came back home, a friend of mine contacted me, a friend of mine that was in the trip of Egypt, like she was already going, telling me like Matthias felt that it needs to come more people, and then he said like, but please tell the ones that you are in the trip already, tell the people to join in, no, like, or if you know anyone that wants to join in, tell them to come. I remember he knew that my friend was there, so I don't know if he made it like this or not. But that's what happened. My friend contacted me, and then it was like, okay. So I contact my the organization, and but I told them like I don't have the money to pay now because I just paid for that trip, but I really feel like the call to go. So they told me like, wait a second, I'm going to speak with Claudia, the mother of Matthias, and then I come back to you. So when they come back to me, it was like, listen, I just spoke with them. They say yes, they want you there, and they say if you could actually help with the English people. So somehow I got the opportunity to go there, and like with a very good, they allow me to pay in sections the trip. So yeah, and then I was kind of in the organization of the trip already in that particular trip. Yeah, so
So
holding.
this is crazy. It was like, it was all programmed. I'm sure your higher selves like chatted together and then, okay, she needs to be there. So send message to Gan and then tell it to Matthias and Judith, you were on the trip. So perfect.
I think that we had something to do, same as many other people, in a particular time, and that's how we met. And I think you can see, if you follow Matthias, you can see that that's happening. Like he will never go always with the same people because he is it renews itself. You know, it's like people that they need the codes, or they have the codes, or they have the information for that path that you're doing, is the people that he is going to encounter or meet, you know. And that's how it happens. And I think, yeah, for all of us that we are in this path, I think is a soul calling, is nothing. Yeah, it's not synchronic, you know. It's
Yeah.
something that needed to happen in some level. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how was your first trip to Egypt then? So did you discover, like, I mean, rediscover your memories from your past lives? And did you have any past lives in Atlantis with maybe Matthias, or I don't know, how was it for you?
Okay, in Atlantis, I
Yeah.
remember having a past life there. I don't remember Matthias from Atlantis. And the memories that Matthias has and the memories that I have, they are quite different. So I will say that we have been in Atlantis, or my higher self has been in Atlantis, or the information that I'm carrying has been in Atlantis in another timeline that what he remembers. Okay, that's my feeling. Yes. But in Khem, which is Egypt, before it became Egypt, it was called Khem, Kemet.
Yeah.
Yes, Khem. And it was a civilization from Atlantis that they set into the Nile River. So my first trip in Egypt, it was really fun. I met really amazing people. It was really amazing. It was hard work internally also. A lot of things moved. But in that moment, I didn't remember. Myself remember. I felt like in some moments I will enter, like to many people it happens that you enter into a temple and then suddenly you start crying, or like you start feeling weird things because that's memories that's coming up, or like, it's like remembrance, but not consciously. After 8 months, I was in Glastonbury Abbey, and I was there with a friend, and I was walking into all these beautiful places. But when I went into Glastonbury Abbey, I fell into my knees, and I had these white things that happens that in that moment it was like I disappeared, and it came a lot of visions,
Data.
informations, and data,
Okay.
and all what I could see is like this boat that were navigating from Egypt into Avalon,
Really?
full of priestesses and priests from before Egypt, and I start like feeling all that and seeing all that, and in that moment I was contacting Matías, and I was like, listen, I'm feeling this and seeing this and da, 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 like what's going on, and this and that, and he never said anything because he's very careful on to tell you who you were in another life, um because he don't want to interrupt your evolution. So if it's in your path, you will remember it yourself. So he was really careful, he was like, yeah. Until I went like, come on, can you please tell me? Doesn't make sense to me. Is this happening? It was happening. What is going on? What do you know? And then finally I said like, I was a priestess in camp. And finally he said, yes. Like, can you, I say it in this way, can you confirm that I was? It's like, yes. And then after that, when he actually realized that I was remembering, and then he started opening up, and I learned much more from him. But what he remembers he remembers quite a lot, but has a lot of memories from the north, because I used to be in the south. Like, he was like high priestesses of the circle of the woman of the north. I was a high priestesses of the circle of the woman of the south. So I remember what happened in the south, but not so much of the north. But he remembers that something had happened in the south, but he didn't lift it, or she in that moment didn't
Yeah.
lift it. So yeah, and then it was a lot of confirmation for me when I start sharing my memories, and he helped me a lot. I'm forever grateful, the evolution that I had since I met him, really.
Yeah. This also helped maybe to put pieces into one place. Like, you had this memory and this heritage in you because, it's something in your cells. And this connection to Matías like opened a whole new window for you. And you could see yourself the way you are. And so then after Egypt, you did Romaamor, or am I wrong? Or was it before Rama's Bridge? How was it?
The Romaamor happened in 2012 when I was in the Himalayas.
Okay.
So I was following it, but from a distance. What happened is that last year, a group of us that we were in Madrid, we tap into the information that that we had to go to Rome. So last year, we came back with the information and the knowledge of Romaamor and working with that essence, but it was a different work that what we had to do, and it had to. We were there in between the popes, when the pope died, and and we did an energetic work there, because a lot of the way we are living, the calendar, the Latin language, many things started in that place, coming from Greece a little bit also. But so what we were trying is to, and some of the information has been twisted. So what we tried is to correct the information and to kind of like it's bring it back into the origin somehow, like from the distortion.
Yeah. So I think it was before the Rama's Bridge, because I remember that there was the Yosoy Path 2020-21, and this is where I saw you on the video in this hotel room, and you were laughing and you were all smiling, and it was very nice to see some faces next to Matías, and I was thinking, like, who are these people? And so I imagine it was pretty intense doing all the activations, going to the pyramids and gathering the codes for the path. How did you live it? What did you discover about yourself at that moment that led you then to Rama's Bridge? Because I think it was in 2024, and after you did the Romaamor, and now we have Alchemia. So, there's a whole path going through Egypt. And could you tell us a little bit more about that path 2020-21?
For me, I'm going to speak out from my personal experience and not about the path itself and what Matías was sharing. My personal experience, how I lived it was that it was a call from my soul. I never saw that the path, the Yosoy path, was Matías' path and I was following. It was my path, and something that I said yes. I had responsibility to it also, same as everyone. I'm not putting into any place here. It's like everyone, we had the same. But personally, I felt a lot of responsibility because of my memories from Khem. In Khem, when we knew that that something was distorted on the planetary network, and we tried to fix it or to work on it, the Earth was, from my perspective, I never talked to Matías about that. So, but from my perspective, is that the Earth was vibrating already too low for the frequency that we needed to actually restore the planetary network. And in that moment, in one of the reunions that we had, many of us, the souls that we found Yosoy Path, or we were doing the Yosoy Path, we decided to come back on the Mirror era. In that time, it was the Leo era, and now it entered in the Aquarius era. So it's 12,500 years before. So one thing that Matías explains always is that the galaxy goes into day of the galaxy and night of the galaxy. In that moment, we were entering into the night of the galaxy. That is a normal way to fall asleep. And so we disconnected a little bit from the totality somehow. Now we are in the other side, in the other face of the coin, and we are entering into the daylight of the galaxy. So now was the time that the Earth was vibrating again into certain level for us to finish what we had to finish before in a soul level. So that's why for me, it was like my mission, what I came here to do, and I took a lot of responsibility, and I was super, super connected on the path, and like Yeah, it brought a lot of emotions to me because it was a little bit of fear of like, what if we cannot do it again? And, like, yeah, many things like that. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Internally, it had been like processes, super deep processes. So, in order, I think that when you say yes to something, to hold space for such an energy, your higher self brings you into really polish what is inside still that needs to be polished. So that's what happened. I was process after process after process after process. Even now, after 2022 has been very strong years for me, to be honest. Really a pure transformation that the words cannot actually describe. It was very deep, sometimes really painful. Many people didn't see that because you don't show that into the camera, but it's been really strong, really strong. But in a way, when I look backwards, if I look backwards into my life, I could see then that my higher self and guides were actually preparing me with everything that I pass into my life to hold the space and to hold such an energies that I had to hold in that particular moment. Because all the past that I experienced helped me to really bring very strong roots, very strong core in order to sustain. And that doesn't mean that I was evolved or like enlightened, not at all. I had my human nightmares, I had my human emotions, and I been sometimes very unbalanced in some ways. But when I was doing the work, something in me shifted, and then boom, I was there.
Yeah.
I was really since 2011, my higher self and guides, they really showed me how to become a tree throughout an experience that I had, and that has been my main intention since then to
So
become.
this is something that accompanies you in your journey of now. Like, so you're holding the space for this consciousness network to be born again, because as we are waking up, so at some point we need to have people who will be there saying, hey, there's coffee, there's croissant or something. So
You have to connect to your roots. Yes, you
yeah.
and unfortunately, sorry, you have to accept it.
Yeah.
It's like something is for me like the integration of the body is super important because in this spiritual path or conscious path, sometimes we forget the body because we want to go into the higher realms and into the highest, when we forget that we come from a seed that is inside the earth, and through the pressure, then you strong, really strong roots, you grow strong roots, and then you can grow very strong core. And then from there is when you can actually access much more higher levels, much more higher dimensions, or like connect to the higher realms, but with our body, without
Yeah.
leaving our body, without leaving our roots. Otherwise, we don't anchor anything here. And I think it's important for us, as Matías says always, is like we are doing acupuncture in the earth and we need to be needles. So, how we can actually work in our central channel to be really strong and and for the codes, the energies that are coming or the energies that need to be released can be released, so and it doesn't affect us because sometimes you go into these places, um, the energies can move you a lot if you don't have this stability. So I
Yeah.
think one of my paths here, a part of many others, but is to show people how to integrate everything into the body and be stable into the body too.
This is very interesting because when you say to become a needle, I'm thinking like, the Excalibur, like being ourselves, straight and access, which is not always very easy because, it's the society we live in is not always very balanced. So it asks for a lot of self-discipline. And do you have a self-discipline that you could name it like this?
I used to very much, like when I was 25. When I was 25, until I will say 35, I used to wake up every morning at 6, 7, do either yoga or qigong, and I was very strict on that. After 35, I've been on and off. Like sometimes I'm very regular, sometimes not. And what I learned, something that I was guided to also, is that is a tool that you have. Like the discipline is super important in order to learn something and to record this into your cellular memory, into your DNA. But if you start depending on that, then you get attached. And then there is such is something that you need to navigate. It's like if you really need to do your yoga in the morning to be good, that's something that there is something, because what I understood by doing all this routine every day and being super strict on my program is that what my higher self told me, my guidance told me, was that I should actually apply this into all my life. And I'm not saying that I'm there all the time, because I can tell you my mind takes over sometimes. I go into processes. When I go into processes, I can be really connected to my inner child, and all the knowledge and all the tools that I have suddenly disappears. But because sometimes we need to go through that, maybe 1-2 days you're like this, and then you come into the other side, So it's about first of all, allowing yourself to go through the processes, don't escape, that one. And second, all these programs, or like the practices that you do, how you can integrate it into daily life. Something that I received was that it's like, look at the monks, or look at the Tibetans, or like, all these people that do a very strong practice. At the end of the day, for them is to implant it, or like to bring it into 24/7, because you can meditate for 2 hours in the morning, but if you don't take this meditation in between all what you do, it's a tool, but it's not really, you're not embodying it.
Yeah.
So we can embody the practice, and that's what I try to do. And sometimes it's there, sometimes not.
We are just humans. Yeah, and sometimes we forget and go for this chocolate cake or something. Yeah, but so you also, we met personally in your holographic healing session. It was a group healing session, and it was really amazing because, like, it was so accurate, and we were like 10 people sitting there, and I think we all like felt there was something like, and then we had an individual session, and you instantly connected to my past, which was crazy because, like, this is not something that everyone knows, and you went like laser into my traumas, like. And so could you tell us more about the holographic healing, because this is something really I really was like mind blown after, and told all the people around me, wow, it was amazing. So, but I couldn't really put, like words to it, because what is a holographic healing?
Okay, so it's difficult for me to explain it because I tap into the hologram since I was a kid. I actually thought that everyone could tap into the hologram. So yeah, what happened? The evolution of the holographic healing was that when I was a kid and I was sensitive to energies and tapping into different dimensions, the way I tap into that places was through my hands. So now I understand that my hands are the extension of my heart, right? But before I used my hands, I was always massaging people, even when I was very little and we were doing trips with the school. I will be massaging the one in front of me, or I always use my hands. And so I developed this massage technique that I is beyond massage because I use the physical body to enter into subtle levels like cellular memory, mental patterns, belief systems, energies stuck in the body, always guided by the higher self of the person, and guides, masters, beings are there always. And also, if they need, in another level, we can receive light codes or different types of frequencies, connection with cosmic family, with the guides, with the masters, past lives. We can can go into many other places like astral surgery. Yeah, I did many things. Yeah,
So it's like connecting to the Akashic records, isn't it?
No. No, I don't
No?
do acid records. No, it's different.
Okay.
It's another technique to receive information. The acid records will be like entering into a library and downloading information. And with here is like I enter, like in the massage, I use the physical body and the guidance with the higher self to go into all the levels of the being. But then now, many years ago, again, going with all my massage stuff, going to my car to go to work, all this sensation of like a vision, and then coming back, it came back, and my higher self told me, you're ready to bring your therapy online. And I laugh, and I always say the same. It's like I laugh in front of their face if they have it, because I was like, guys, I need my hands, and then again, boom, one split second, and then I understood I needed to do through the hologram. And then I remember, and I saw myself as a kid just using and working with holograms in my hand. But not only that, like 15 years ago, when I was living in Goa, and my friends were like, Judy, can you check in my energies? I was like, yes, of course. I take the holographic body and I will scan the holographic body. But it never occurred to me that I could work like this. But now that was guided, and I was like, of course, through the hologram of the body. So what I do with the holographic healing is I take the holographic body of the person. Like, we need to open the mind here a little bit and understand that even though we feel the materialistic world, and is physical, in reality, everything is a hologram, everything is a thought, right? So when you tap into that perception, I can take your holographic body, I can take it here with permission, asking permission to all the levels somehow. And then from there, I can actually enter into the information that the holographic body has, which it can be your own Akashic records, or like the field that you have as the information around you, but also what information carries your body, because it's in every level. So when I tap into the information that you have, that is your lattice, let's say, is the Taurus, in that's your Akashic records. Yes, then yes, maybe I tap into the Akashic records of the person, right? But when I can tap into this, into the cellular memory also, and with that I use the holographic body, and I can also open the hologram. I can take a thread, and I can open even more to see the information that is there. So that's what we use. And in the groups, I take the hologram of the group, and as we create a being somehow, and I can work with this being that we all created.
This is incredible. It's like a matrix, a little bit like, yeah, it's a.
Every level is like very personal, but also connection. And what I'm finding now with the group holographic healing group sessions is that, yeah, we work in the personal. There are cellular memory that comes, and maybe we talk with the father, with the mother, wherever it comes. But many times is something that goes into the collective consciousness. So a lot of sometimes actually is healing in another level, and we kind of are tapping into the planetary network and the network of consciousness basically, and what is needed there. Yeah, the last one that we did, it was very impressive, was the grandmother turtle that came as a guide and asked the grandmother turtle asked us to become mother cells, and we had to tap into the mother cells in between us to regenerate our body, and from there become a mother cell, cells ourselves, in order for there where we go, so we can spread the regeneration process. But also they make us see that the locations where the person were was in Syria. It was to bring codes and information and this type of regeneration energy from the Pacific, from Mu, from the frequency of Mu, to all the countries that we were until Syria. And from there also spreading it into all the planets. So yeah, it's beyond personal now, the Yague holographic healing groups. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And you told me that at some point you were connected to the Mu energy and the crystal cities. And is this something that helps you to navigate when you're doing the healing sessions?
Sometimes, if it's needed, yes. It's something that is I connect with the crystal cities very well, and with the crystal scalps also. And sometimes it just comes the frequency and comes the codes and awakens the codes of the people that are around, or like that we are holding the space with. Yeah.
And you told me also about the solar discs. Is it something you discovered last year when you went to Peru, and or is that an information you already had from your childhood?
Not from my childhood, but through me traveling in other places like Colombia, Argentina, in Talampaya. I was in contact with the solar discs, and always has been screaming my attention, and kind of I had a lot of connection. I basically have been in less two places, in all the places that they have solar discs. So whenever I'm in a place that there is a solar disc, I connect very strongly with the solar disc and I receive information. So lately I've been receiving an information that sooner, I hope, I will start sharing, and it's going to be a call to go to the solar discs, and whoever wants to come is welcome. I don't know yet fully how it's going to be done, but the solar discs are calling with
Really?
the energy of Mu, and Then together with the pyramid energy, kind of like bringing in balance feminine and masculine, the Atlantean energy with the Mu energy. That's it has been like for a year now coming in, but I still don't have the full spectrum. So I'm still downloading some information on how to do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't know, what is a solar disk? Because I'm sure that, like, I'm asking myself, okay, is it a disk? Is it golden or something? So is it made of stones or?
It exists for what I'm going to speak myself about my perception. So I may be wrong, or it's not the actual truth all the time. Yes. So it's my truth and the way I perceive them. Mm-hmm. But when I went to a place, these places that there were solar discs, the way I see it is the same as the crystal cities. They exist in another dimension. And the crystal cities carries information mostly from Atlantis. Also, there are ones from Mu, but the ones I connect with are coming and bringing the information from Atlantis, from another dimension, not the Atlantis that we know in the surface. It's like more intraterrestrials. And the solar discs are carrying more the information of Mu, and together with the sun information, the codes of the sun. And our discs, for me, are golden discs. If you go to Peru, you always see this golden disc like this with a lot of hieroglyphics and things. That's the way I see them in another dimension. It exists like this? I'm not sure. I don't know which material is. The way I see it myself and how I connect with them is like this. And I connect with the information in the solar disc is the information of Mu and the 12 rays, sorry, with the 12 rays, it carries also the information of the light sun, the photons, like how to use the photon energy in order to transform and do the photosynthesis, like the plants do. So it's kind of like using this information. But there is, I believe that they were put there to anchor a certain frequency to be holding the space for the transformation that is happening.
So is this something that needs to be activated, or no, or just we have to tap into this energy and connect the vibration it has?
The way I perceive them, they are active already. I can be wrong, but the way I perceive them, they are active. It's nothing that we need to go and do, but they are calling. And if they are calling, it's for a reason. So my sensation is that we just need to go there and be the needles to work with this information that is already there, and maybe even receiving some more information or using this information to activate it into the lines. To be honest, I don't know, because until I don't go into the place, I don't know exactly why this place is calling me for and what is evolving, or what is doing. But I always hear the calls, and that's something that I've been,
yeah, they are saying, "Hey, Judith, we are here, we are on. let's connect."
It's not me only, because I sometimes feel the call and I just go alone. That's how I've been traveling always, or with friends, and we are like 5 friends or 8, 10, but it's something that I've been avoiding to do, is to bring people or to be there for people. I don't feel the call to do that, to be honest. I don't know if I will ever do it. Maybe after this call I feel the call and then I do it. This happens, but the way I see it is more like there is a call. Hey, I'm going to be that day at this particular place connecting to the solar disk. Whoever wants to come, let me know.
Oh.
I send you a form.
Mm.
More like this.
Mm.
I feel is going to happen. It's more like I don't want to take responsibility for anyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to take responsibility for anyone.
Yeah. And
That's
so
the way.
we could say that it's the earth who is like waking up,
Mhm.
maybe through us. I don't know, because we are earth neurons, but you feel the call. You feel the call to travel the world and to work with the solar discs, and whoever wants to come, just to say, hey, Judith, I'm going there with you, and this is going to be perfect for the moment you're creating. Yeah.
Whoever wants to come is, yeah, they can be there, sure. The way I see it myself is not that the earth is calling. I think the earth has been calling many people in many places in many times. But now we have the network, and so it's more visible. But like has been a lot of people doing what we are doing for a long time now. Like, yeah, I think
Yeah, it's been on
it,
for ages. Yeah.
yeah, it's been on now.
And now we have the network.
Now it's starting. Now it's more people being called to do this type of things, but it has been happening always. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so let's maybe finish. We talked about an alignment that maybe you could we could make. You could make. I don't do it like a holographic portrait of what we are doing. And before getting into this, I would like to know how to get in touch with you, how people can connect with you and, like know more about the holographic healing sessions and all what is coming. So how can we join you?
Well, through Instagram is the easiest. You can find me in Judith lower K, I think it's called, no? Like
We
the
will put the link in the
okay.
description.
Judith without H, lower bar, Yahweh, without
Okay.
2 points on the U. So it's Yahweh, but it's Yahweh. Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay.
Yahweh with the bar in between. Yeah. And then my mail, in case of someone wants to contact me more through my mail, is Judith without H, alternative massage at gmail.com.
Okay, so we will write it down below. And you also have a website, so we will put all the information for people who might be interested.
My is actually
And
construction at the my website is in construction at the moment, but we
oh,
use it. Yeah. Mhm.
okay. And what would be the last thing that you would like to say and to leave here for those who will be listening, who are listening, and for the world? What would you say?
Something that I always share in every treatment, workshop, or connections that I do, or guidance that I do, is on how to connect, um, how to realign your central channel and fusion your higher self and your it's not that I'm there, but this is my path. This is what I'm looking for me, and this is what I'm sharing. So in order to do that, you have to discern a lot, discernment, and always come back into the center. Always come back into yourself. Always see if this resonates with you. Always find your roots and come back into inhabiting your body, because it's actually from here and now, inhabiting your body, that you can actually reach the whole our highest potential that we have. So I will say this is like how to put yourself first without being on top of the other. It's like, but really respecting yourself and honoring who you are.
And your story and history. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you are open to the alignment, let's maybe do it now. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. I can tap into the energy that is in this call and then see what's happening. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. From my divine presence I am, and the divine presence I am of everyone that is listening this call. I ask to receive a clear information and guidance for the best and highest good of all. I'm asking assistance of our higher self, angels, masters, and guides. And I'm asking permission to the elementals, guardians, and regents of each of our unique places to hold the space for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take few deep breaths and start connecting with your central channel. Feel your legs, feel your feet in the ground, and let Mother Earth support you. Through every breath, allow all the tensions and all the nervousness, all the heavy sensations go down into your legs, into the Mother Earth, releasing anything that you don't need at this moment. And you imagine that all this that we release becomes seeds of evolution for yourself. Allow yourself to feel strong roots going from your feet into the earth. Feel the moisture, feel the coldness of the Mother Earth, and allow yourself to absorb the minerals, the nutrients that she's giving you. Feel how she is supporting you. Allow yourself to sink more into her embrace. Notice that you are one with her, that you are not separated. And let's remember the Mother Earth is the cosmic mother. She lives in the cosmos. You can connect now to the crystalline center of the Mother Earth and feel the light coming from the center of the Mother into your roots. Feel that even if you are really rooted and present, you can tap into the lightness. Take the light up into the roots. feet, into the legs, to your base center, and allow yourself to feel secure here. Awaken stability. Take a deep breath and bring it into the second chakra, allowing this light to awaken the creativity in between you. Take a deep breath and bring it up into the solar plexus, allowing yourself to shine your light. Taking a deep breath and bringing it up into the heart center, activating this centeredness, this stillness, and balancing, calibrating the giving and receiving. Taking a deep breath and bring this light into the throat chakra, calibrating the power of the word. Taking a deep breath into the third eye, activating the inner vision, the intuition, the pineal gland. Take a deep breath and bring it into the crown. Opening to receive guidance from other dimensions, from other frequencies, timelines, and connecting you with your higher self, with your spirit. Taking a deep breath into the chakra above your head, the star chakra, connecting you with all that is, here and now, still feeling the roots. Now you are supported by the Mother Earth and Father Sky. You can rest here. Taking a deep breath and spreading all this information and all this energy all around you, creating a very strong field around you, like a torus field, allowing yourself to be sustained with your own energy. I invite you now to put your hands into your high heart center and receive the Christ crystalline codes. Awaken your Christ crystalline codes between you. Feel the centeredness. Feel your roots. Feel the sustain between other dimensions. And feel your own energy around you. You're safe. And as we work individually, let's share all this through the center of the earth into all the planet, into the network of consciousness. As we know that working in oneself, we work for everyone and the others. Feel the rainbow bridge between you. White in the crown, indigo in the third eye, blue in the throat chakra, pink in the high heart center, green in the heart center, yellow in the solar plexus, orange in the creative center, red on the base center, brown on the knees, magenta on the ankles. You are the rainbow bridge. You are the bridge between worlds. Allow yourself to be a needle. Allow yourself to be a tree. Very slowly, you can start taking few deep breaths and allow yourself to come back into your center, into your central channel. You can use your hands to bring your energy back. Massage your body, align your energies into the central channel. Very slowly start to moving your feet, your toes, your hands, touching your body, coming back here and now with this new frequency, this new alignment. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. It was a short one and a very general. I just felt like a lot of energy, but I couldn't enter into the details. It was very general, and that's something that worked for everyone. Yeah.
It was really powerful. And I imagine it was the best for everyone. Like, yeah. Judith, thank you very much for who you are, for what you do, for all the knowledge you carry, and for your generosity to share it openly like this, and for your time, for your presence, and for being the needle and the acupuncture at the same time. Yeah, so really, thank you, and thank you to everyone for watching as well. And so all the links are below, and if you want to connect, we are here.
Thank you, Ola, for trusting and inviting me into this space. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's watching also.
Mm.